Hey guys, we're here to show you how to make a flange using SolidWorks. This is a mechanical component most engineers should be familiar with. It's used quite frequently in oil fields and industries very similar to that. It shows a lot of basics for SolidWorks, so the goal here is to teach you how to make this part so that you can then go apply what you learned in this video to whatever project you need to. So this is the flange, and to get started, first you want to go to File, New, and double-click Part. So bring up an open SolidWorks file, and you're going to go to Sketch. You're going to want to click the front plane. It'll then become perpendicular to you and then disappear. So you're then going to go up to the circle button to sketch a circle with the center at the midpoint. Just going to drag it out, click it, and then next you're going to want to smart dimension it. This allows you to just click the circle, bring out the dimension, click, and then you can change it to whatever dimension you want to. For this, we're going to go with 5 inches. Now that we have our circle, we're going to hit the green check mark on the dimension box. This shows that it's done. We have our 5-inch diameter circle right there. Now we're going to want to go to Extruded Boss Base. This makes that 2D circle 3D by just kind of changing its thickness. For this one, we're going to go with 3 inches in the blind direction. 3 inches seems too big. Let's go with 1 inch in the blind direction. The blind just kind of means that it's going to extrude it however far you tell it to, not taking into account anything that'll be in its way. So as you do more complicated parts, you might want to look into the other ways you can extrude, like up to vertex, up to surface. But for now, you can just do blind. Hit the check mark. There you go. Got yourself a little 1-inch cylinder. So now we're going to want to make it perpendicular again. Hit the space bar and then click this front face. You're just looking at it like that. So now we're going to want to do another sketch. Hit the sketch button again. Click this front face. And now I'll be sketching right on the front face of your cylinder. We're going to do another circle right at the center again. Click that. Go out however far you really feel like. And then we're going to smart dimension it again. This one, let's do 3-inch diameter. That's good. Put the check mark. And then we're going to extrude that again. This time we're going to change the view so we can see what's going on. Let's try 2 inches, see how that looks. Looks pretty good. Hit the check mark. So now we can kind of see it becoming the flange, super basic. But now we need the hole. So let's make it perpendicular again, and we're going to sketch again, this time on the smaller circle. But again, we're just going to use the circle sketch tool, sketch this out. Let's make this dimension. Let's go with 1.75, 1 3/4 inches. Check mark. Go to features. For this one, we're not going to do extrude boss base. We're going to do an extruded cut. So for this one, this is going to cut all the way through the part, and you can kind of see what it's doing right here, where you have the part you sketched, the arrow, it's going all the way back to this yellow outline of a circle. That's how far back the cut's going to go. We want it to go all the way through the piece, so we can just do a big 5-inch cut that'll go all the way through the back. So when we hit check, you can see all that material is now gone. It cut all of it out. That's what we wanted. So let's go back to this view. Now on the flange, it showed that there were 4 bolt holes on this bigger face. So to do that, this is where it gets a little trickier. We first want to sketch some construction lines. So we want to be sketching on this face. So to do that, we are going to hit this drop down menu, center line. Yep. We're going to come in here. Didn't want to sketch there. Come back over here, do the center line. We want to line it up with that midpoint. So SolidWorks, when you're sketching, will kind of lock into place at the midpoint or when it's 90 degrees. We want to make 2 of these. There we go. So now we're going to do another circle for the bolts. This time we're going to do it right up here. Gonna smart dimension it again. To do this, let's do a good old 3/8 bolt. That's one of the really cool things about SolidWorks is it recognizes mathematical operators. So if you don't know what the exact decimal value for 3/8 is, you can just do 3/8, 3 divided by 8, hit enter, and it'll change it to that. We hit check, and cool, we got one of the bolt holes. So that's all good. Now we just want to make it so there's 4 of them equally spaced around. And we could just draw 3 more circles around here, but instead we're going to use something under linear sketch pattern. There is a circular sketch pattern. This brings up the circular sketch pattern command window. What you're going to do is under parameters, you want to select the sketch that you're going to be doing the pattern around. So the circle. You're then going to come down here. The X shows you center X distance, center Y distance. We're just going to keep that 0 because we want to do it around the center point. Want it to be 360 degrees. That's a whole circle. And we want 4 of these. So it takes into account the one you selected, then 2, 3, 4. It's perfect. We can hit the check mark, and boom, we have 4 bolt circles now. So now we're going to go and use that same extruded cut tool we just previously used. Now we just need to select circles that we're going to be cutting. Sometimes SolidWorks won't understand which thing you're trying to cut, so you need to go in and select what you're trying to cut out. Again, we're just going to go blind. We can look behind, see they're going to get cut out all the way from the back. Now, if you're trying to sketch more things on the other side, you need to be careful because those cuts will go all the way through whatever else you're sketching back there. So that's a time when you're going to want to use something other than blind. You can use through all, that'll go all the way up to the surface. So we'll use that one this time. Hit check. There we go. We got our 4 bolt holes. Starting to look pretty good now. And then one of the other things you see a lot in mechanical components is something called a fillet. So we're going to fillet right onto our 3D component. If you go under the Features tab in the Command Manager, you see this fillet. We're going to click that. It brings up this fillet menu. Drag this out a little bit. And so now we want to select the items to fillet. We want to select the base where the smaller circle connects to the bigger circle. We want to fillet that. We want to fillet this outer edge right here. Then we want to fillet this top edge and then this edge around our big cut. These fillets kind of help for more solid mechanics purposes, and it kind of takes away some of the concentrated stress in that area, while also making it easier for a manufacturer to actually make. So if you're designing a part that you also need to make, say, in a machine shop, then you're going to want to put fillets in there because most of your machines will not be able to get those perfect 90-degree angles everywhere. Except, when you're drilling through right here, these smaller bolt patterns, but this bigger one, you're probably going to have to use, say, a metal lathe or something like that to get a hole that's that big. But back to fillets. We're going to use a 0.25 fillet. That looks kind of big, but yeah, so let's drop that down a little bit. Let's go 0.15 inch fillet. That looks better. Again, this makes it kind of easier to machine, and you can see the preview of what this fillet's going to look like everywhere. So when we hit check, boom, we got some nice looking fillets, and it looks a lot like a flange. You can definitely go and take this to any manufacturer and they'd be able to make it for you. So now that we have piece, we just want to go and you say what material it is. So if you look at this left window right here, you'll see something that says material and then not specified. You're going to right click that, go to edit material. This window will pop up. It all kind of depends on what you're trying to make this out of. So if you're trying to use steel, you would definitely go to steel, hit this little caret, and it would drop down all the steel that SolidWorks has in its database. We're going to do aluminum alloys, and we're just going to use 6061 T6 SS. This is a really common metal used in a lot of engineering. And this is really cool too, because you can see SolidWorks has a lot of the material properties that come along with this. So if you need to do any analysis, stress analysis, thermal analysis, SolidWorks already has that built in for you. So you just come down here, hit apply, and you will see then over here that the material is now 6061 T6 SS. So we can close this window. It didn't really change that much. It maybe got a little bit shinier, maybe a little less gray, but that is a flange. So now all you have to do, file, save as, here, file, save as, then you have your part. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was a lot of fun showing you guys how to use SolidWorks.